Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's been about 3, 4 weeks without me recording anything. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update, and I'm gonna share with you guys how my last week has been. Yeah, only a week because Sila. Yeah, so I've just returned from a trip, none other than the West Coast, the Gold Coast, where it all began for Africa in terms of independence, in terms of even with democracy, that sort of thing. Ghana. And I had the time of my life. It was a quick in out. I was contracted to come give training. Shout out MD Inc., shout out Tokyo and Zella attorneys to give training on corporate governance. And look, I loved it. I think the highlight of what it is that happened was straight after the training. I had an interview with Vits FM. I think it's Vuzu Radio or something like that. Yeah, and there was essentially to discuss how it is, or at least, yeah, what mutual banks are. So it was essentially a business interview. And as I say, I loved it. And I loved it because it allowed me the opportunity to reflect. But I also loved it because I enjoy getting new insights that give me hope and that sort of thing. I can tell you now that also what's sad about the hope that I'm talking about is that I think it doesn't give me hope so much for South Africa, then it gives me hope that there is a solution and there is a better way, maybe more closure than hope. And I think the closure that I got in this instance was to see specifically what I think might be missing or is wrong with South Africa. So I'll show you, for example, it's a population density map, right, for Ghana and some other region for that matter. If you have a look here, how the region is structured, you'll see, oh, look what I just did. I just opened what I wasn't looking for. Let's see, G under Ghana, Kahana, Ghana. There we go. Um, Country summary, demographic atlas. Why am I seeing all these things? I basically just wanted to get a population density map, and now I'm getting all of this. Anyway, that's not a problem for now. But I wanted to give my insights essentially on how it was, how it felt as well. So the immediate thing when you land at the airport, so for me, it was as I was landing, seeing it from above. It wasn't scenes like Cape Town where you immediately see squatter camps and no roads, that sort of thing inside the black areas. Or Joburg, where essentially you see factories only around the airport and no people. Ghana, you land literally in the CBD, I'll call it that, of Accra. And it was nice to see how organized it was. The people are very friendly. The airport staff is very helpful. There's no time for you to get lost or to wonder, what do I do now? What if somebody mistakes me for something I'm not, and then I get arrested, and before you know it, I have to be making phone calls home for ransom and that sort of thing. None of that. The moment you get there, there's clear direction. There's a clear sense of go from here to there, from here to there, from here to there. And before you know it, you've gone through customs, your bags have been searched, you've got your entry stamps, and you are free to basically intermingle with the country. And the gentleman walks up to us and offers us his phone. And I'm there thinking, if this were happening in South Africa, it'd be so uneasy. But believe it or not, it actually turns out that he was legit. Like there was nothing untoward about what he was doing. It's, I guess, completely Ghanaian to help. And also, it's not 100% altruistic help. It was a help where you could see that I'm going to have to pay for this, but it was help nonetheless. I think that's something that I know, for example, in South Africa, I haven't seen enough of that feeling that somebody's going to help you settle in, even if it's at a fee. It always feels like you're being hustled, or hey, what if um or something like that, right? So that was nice to see first and foremost. Then from there, it was a drive back to the hotel. And to say the drive was chaotic on the first day, I think the only way I can redeem it on the last day is by saying it's not chaotic, it's actually very involved. And that was actually one of the key takeaways that I had of the country of Ghana. It's very involved. The people are literally in each other's faces. The people are basically, um, yeah, like well and busy. And yeah, there's a sense of ownership that I got in the air while navigating through the country throughout the 3 days that I was there. When I say a sense of ownership, is that people don't feel sorry for themselves. People are not there saying, listen, we're hungry, it's your job to make a plan about this. It actually is more like um, we're taking ownership of making sure that you settle down and you feel safe and you are one of us and that sort of a thing, right? So I enjoyed that quite a lot. I enjoyed that quite a lot. And then also, you also got the sense that when you engage with people, people are actually interested in what you are asking about and what you're working on. The other thing that was interesting to note was that the population is very sober. So at no point did I get a feeling that I was dealing with people that were drunk or wanted to get drunk, that sort of a thing. It was 100% a sober population. And yeah, you basically just felt as if, yeah, they take what they do seriously. That takes me then to the design. As I say, I wanted to show you, which I'll still show you. I'll show you a map of Ghana as well as the population density. You got the sense that they're not so split up, like from one place to the next. It seemed as if one continuing chaos, so to speak. It seemed as if it was one continuing big city, such that from, I think we went to Lobati Beach, we were stationed in Accra itself. Um, so we didn't go too far away, but you got the sense that essentially information travels from one place to another. And that was very helpful for me personally, because you got the sense that like information passes on, and it led me to an analysis. Yeah, Rio, in South Africa, you can literally be popular in Midrand and not be known anywhere else. Like you're just popular in your own small Ghana enclave. And it's because information is structured in such a way that if you're not popular on social media, then it's very difficult for you to be known outside of your immediate circle, right? Which is different from what I experienced, as I say, from Ghana, in that you got the feeling that information travel, they would know who you are in the next town if, um, yeah, if you were to be popular for something like that, right? The other thing was I appreciated everybody's how in touch people were with money and how to make money. So there was an instance where we paid in dollars and the person just immediately gave us change in rands. Oh, sorry, not in rands, in their city, their currency. And it was nice to see that because it gave me a working knowledge of currency and of money, which is something that I don't think we have here in South Africa. And I think it also makes it difficult to do business or to do work. At some point, we paid in rands and they didn't mind. Like they have a spirit that says, listen, whatever it takes to give me money, right? If I can show you the population density of South Africa, what it plots like on a map, this is what it looks like, right? Obviously, with Pretoria taking the bulk, being the capital city, sure, but Pretoria and Joburg essentially taking the bulk. So you can see that it's pretty much loosely arranged. If we compare that to Ghana, Ghana, as they call it, right? It looks something like this. Ghana's population density. It looks something like this. So you pretty much get a sense that everybody is connected to, like from this area to that area to that area. There's a whole lot of small nodes that pass on information. And you can see that's a theme throughout. this region of Africa. So this is Nigeria here next to Benin, then Togo, then Ghana, then Cote d'Ivoire this side, and then Burkina Faso up here as well, with very connected nodes and some gap there in the middle. Compare that to South Africa, where it essentially looks like that. Very difficult for there to find any meaningful continuous connection between nodes. Now, someone might say it's the zooming of the map. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just know what it felt like being in Ghana. It felt as if what I was doing here would have a ripple effect much further down. Outside of that, I enjoyed, as I said, the transactionality of the people. I enjoyed discovering that they've got rural banks, they've got regional banks, they've got, yeah, a plethora of banks. So bad, so much that in 2018, 60% of the banks lost their license and they're still able to function, which is something that you don't have here. Here, we've got the big four, the big five, or the big six, but it's big. And yeah, if one of them loses their license, it's kaput, it's goodbye to everybody else. There was a competitiveness in the air, and I think it's a value add type competitiveness. Here, you get a sense of hustling in South Africa. Like some, we're desperate to stay alive, we're desperate to make money and be there. Whereas with them, it was a spirit of competitiveness, it was an appreciation for the fact that actually work will get done and work must get done for you to be able to generate and make a living, and that people are willing to pay you for that living, right? That was, yeah, what I appreciated about the Ghana experience. The food, very nice, very strong, I must say. I was a bit uncomfortable with how strong the fish was essentially on the palate, on the taste, you name it. Um, but yeah, outside of that, the food was great. Being vegan, I enjoyed having a lot of the bean options, especially at the highest level, so buffets, that sort of a thing. I enjoyed it. I loved that aspect. And yeah, that was my Ghana experience. Coming back was a breeze. The airport was full. The airport was packed. Um, and yeah, I think Ghana gave me hope that there's a lot of activity out there on the continent. There's a lot of connectedness. There's people that want to work hard. There's possibility, man. There's aliveness with a possibility. I think Ghanaians just lack opportunities like we have. So we have like whale-sized opportunities. They have a strong network of each other. Oh, the other thing was the family leaning. Ghana is a very family orientated city. So almost everybody that you meet is either married, not even either. Is either married or in a very serious relationship heading towards marriage. Something like home ownership is the deal. People don't mind building for 15 years in order to own a home. They believe in it completely. But that being said, unlike with us, they don't have access to bonds as we do. So, for example, with them, their interest rates are like 30%, 30 on a bond, which just means that forget about it. Like you're not gonna get the bank to mortgage you a home, which is something that I thought maybe we take for granted. Because yeah, in essence, we can just the minute you have a job, you immediately can go apply for a bond. If you don't get it, you complain that there's discrimination against you, which I didn't get a lot of there in Ghana. In Ghana, I think it's like they just accepted that that's just how it is. Um, Other things that I enjoyed or other things that I loved, maybe go back to my pictorial slideshow, and that will help quite a bit. Oh, the artworks. Listen, we talk about decolonizing a country. Ghana, at least the hotels I went to, the amount of indigenous artworks that were on the walls, like even if you wanted to ignore it, it was right there in your face. I didn't put as many pictures up for the sake of this video, but I enjoyed seeing that aspect of Ghana. The ocean, look, I hadn't brought my beach clothes because the last thing I associated Ghana with was the ocean, even though it's the Gold Coast. But I should have done better research and I should have known better. So that's me by the beach there in Ghana. As I said, the water very warm. And if you can see in the background, which is actually what I wanted to capture, unlike here, for example, if you go to Mhlanga, those areas, they're very rocky beaches and the beach is it's unfriendly here in South Africa, I would say, by virtue of The sea, for example, crashes somewhere closer. And even after it crashes, there's so many things in the way that, yeah, the water then just quickly dies out right there. Whereas here it crashes down there. So I was having a spiritual moment there where it felt as if, listen, I clearly see how ships would just park there or boats would park there and our ancestors would be taken onto those boats. And yeah, it was quite an emotional moment that I was having there. My Ghanaian name, Kofi, because I was born on a Friday. And it was nice when I started the workshop. The minute I said I'm Kofi because I was born on a Friday, one of the gentlemen, chairman, immediately blurted out, "Ah, good man." And I sat there and I thought, wow, that is rather interesting. So the day of the week that you were born basically either determines or describes that you're going to be a good person or not. So that was interesting to see. That's why you find that a lot of dignitaries would be Kofis, a lot of pastors would be Kwesis, because if you're born on a Sunday, you tend to be more spiritual, that sort of a thing. This was me signing into the workshop. As you can see, smiles. We're getting ready to work. That's MD Inc. Shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for the work that you did in organizing this. That's your chairman. That's how I looked. Professional, dapper. Finance Hut, my company, as you guys know. And yeah, a few more pictures of that. Oh, this takes us back. This is when I was still on the plane. This is the food, and this is the view out my airplane window. Shout out. That's the sound system. I was listening. That was another emotional moment, listening to Vusi Mahlasela on the plane as well as Tate Huma Sikela. That was a very nice touch, SAA, to have on the plane. So that's more of the food. That's the book I was reading as I was preparing, more of the outside. It's a 6 hour journey, so you get the gist that I think you either get bored or you basically have to find a way to keep yourself entertained. Other pictures, this was the session itself. As I say, thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe if I can move my picture from there. That's your boy, Chairman Mo. Look how serious the boy looks. Look at that. Look at that. Look. Ah, zoom. What Angela says. Okay. The zoom function is tired. Afuna ukusebenza. Right. Yeah, that was that. And then more pictures, again, more presentations. As I said, I went there for work. So it made sense why it would largely be that. It would largely be pictures of myself working. Yeah, out of 10 so far, look, for a first country out of my own, and for the fact that I was there for work, hospitality, everything, I'd give Ghana a solid 8 out of 10. Definitely, if I had the money, I would live there. Any country where I can earn in dollars and get good climate, good friendly people, law and order, I happily will work there. I loved my first experience outside. As I said, compared to South Africa, I think Ghana has got better prospects for growth than we do, and largely because of their spatial planning. It's in such a way that they are allowed to take advantage of infrastructure that they build. They don't build much, they haven't built much since even as early as the 60s. But if they were to, then there's a lot more to leverage because you just moving a lot more people over a lot smaller distance, and the interconnectedness is there. Unlike with us, we have a very dispersed country. I mean, you actually get to see the principle of divide and conquer more clearly when you compare it to a country like Ghana, in that the rural areas from where I am in South Africa, they're literally miles away. So for me to do anything meaningful with a rural area or a township, it's basically near impossible. The separation is actually quite evident there. There isn't as much mobility. And I think if you from Ghana, if you're from around the continent, you can actually even comment about that in the comment section. The mobility in South Africa is just not there, which is why, for example, something like a car feels like a necessity in this country. Actually, there's something that I didn't touch on. Whereas in Ghana, you 100% feel as if you don't need a car. There's enough transport for you to get by. Most of it is secondhand, obviously damaged. Obviously, the type of driving that's there is, listen, it's hair raising stuff, but you get a full sense that it's A to B type of transportation, and you don't really need to own one yourself. Look, that's my review on Ghana. I think I rambled a bit. A lot of my organized thoughts and a lot of my best thoughts probably went to friends and family as I was debriefing in the first few hours that I've been here. I returned yesterday morning, 4 a.m. In the morning, I took a nap and I've been debriefing friends and family ever since. But I think without losing too much, this is what I managed to put down and say, yeah, this is what the Ashanti people, the Gold Coast, the people of Ghana had to offer me, and I am eternally grateful. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Cheers, guys. Chairman Mo.